Doki, hey, hi, hello, welcome back. Alexandrian Codex Islander time. It's October 27, 21. And we're either doing an hour in this or until I lose. Hopefully I can live for an hour because, you know, I do like to think I'm okay at this game. Now, Islanders is for the unanointed, if there are any watching this. For me, it's like self-therapy. It really is, and I do not have a concrete reason as to why it has that capacity for me. But I love it for it. I do. Wow, that's a damn good start. That's a mighty fine start right there. Take the brewing pack. Yeah, I'm doing alright today. Had a good night last night. Having a pretty solid day today. Had something like a spa day today. I woke up. Been waking up at 8 in the morning. So I recently started taking vitamin D supplements. I was already getting, you know, your daily recommended value from multivitamin. But I've started taking additional amounts of vitamin D. What dosage are you? 3,000? 2,000. 2,000 IU. And holy shit, my mood has been better. Like, I have been so much less sad. Like, I'm still, like, full of existential despair. Don't get me wrong. And that just makes me feel like that's based on lived circumstances and, you know, external stimuli more so than me having a natural inclination to depression. But, you know, obviously I'm biased in that... in that guesstimates, or that... I wouldn't want to say diagnosis, but that analysis. Definitely have a bias there. Fuck Farming Pack. It's not good. It's very not good. We're doing this up here? Yeah, we're doing this up here. So I've been in a pretty good mood lately, which, you know, fucking rocks. And I do take other things, or I balance my diet or food choice around anxiety and depression mitigating or suppressing effects. Like, I have so much lavender and lavender scented shit around my apartment because that helps a little with anxiety. It can help a little with anxiety. It's not a cure-all by any means. And green tea, which I'm drinking my last of right now, so I need to remember to get more. Caffeine obviously helps offset depression, though it can feed into anxiety, but also the amount of antioxidants, I think, amongst, as well as something else in green tea, acts as a antidepressant, can act as an antidepressant. Not like, it's not going to cure you, it's not going to treat you, but it has mild antidepressive effects. In some studies, has been shown to. I'm not a fucking doctor, right? I'm not a nutrition, I'm not a doctor. You should never take advice from anyone, any fucking streamer. I don't give a shit who they are, and I repeat this ad nauseum. Streamers are just dumbass people with a platform that is very easy to get. Don't listen to me. But it works for me. Well, it works okay for me. It works sometimes for me. It helps to take the edge off, let's say. It's just a dangerous thing to say. Typically taking the edge off is something associated with less healthy behaviors, let's say. It's working alright for me. So yeah, I had refused and been, like, stubbornly reluctant to try out vitamin D because I'm like, I already get enough. It's clearly not that. No, it seems to be helping. Even if it's, psychosomatic. Even if it's not actually doing anything. I'm feeling alright. It could just be that I'm in a natural upswing right now, and it's coincidental. But if that's the case, I'll fucking take it. I'll take it. That's real nice. It's real nice. So I've been doing okay. Like I said, today I woke up super early, and I ate breakfast, watched a little streams, updated my fucking drivers, talked with a friend of mine about starting up a the party comp for Baldur's Gate 3 co-op campaign. I don't know how long we're gonna do it. We're thinking about doing it on Monday nights, but we're getting it started tonight because, you know, strike while the iron is hot and all that. So talking about that with him, getting my, making sure everything's up to date as far as drivers go. And I think I fixed an issue I've been having with my rightmost primary monitor. My rightmost monitor, my primary monitor, that I've been having for a while. On startup, it would just not recognize that it was connected. It would turn on as if it were prompted by the computer to power up, and then for some reason it was going to black as if it wasn't getting any information. But I knew that shouldn't be true because it was plugged in and it worked most of the time, so there was something funky happening there. I think it was just a bad HDMI port, or that's what I'm running with right now because I switched the HDMI port. It's working, so that feels good. I'm also in a pretty good mood because last night watched someone who I am fond of stream, and they started out like tired and, you know, worn out as you do at the end of the night, and they're like, I wasn't even sure I was gonna stream. I'm like, I fucking know that feeling very well. There are many times where I'm like, why bother streaming? No one's gonna watch. I'm not gonna have fun. If anyone does watch, people are just gonna be critical little shits, and like, I don't want to deal with internet try-hard edgelords and teenagers. Like, I just want to not exist, and I totally get that mood. So it was really gratifying that by the end of the stream they ended up having a really good time. It was fun being a part of that. Also, I was doing a little like tech support for their stream because, like everything else I do when I first got into streaming, I studied the ever-living crap out of different broadcasting software and the way that streaming works, because, you know, if I'm doing something, I want to do it well. Hence why this, and, well, this is the main exception. This fucking webcam is garbage. It's hot garbage. Like, the resolution is decent, right? But it just slowly fades out. It doesn't have the right, field of view. It isn't adjustable on, this kind of x-axis as well as it would be, because it's got a flat mount. I can't show it to you, right? It's got a flat mount, which sets its x-axis, and then it has a gimbal that it goes on, but it's a really awkward, not very flexible gimbal. So lining this up sucks. I'd much rather get just like an actual fucking camera and go with that. But you know, it do be expensive. Those do cost hundreds or thousands of dollars if you're getting ones that I'd actually like. And as streaming is a hobby and not a career, that's just never been worth it to me. But like the soundproofing, that I have lighting, etc., etc. I say I have lighting, and I'm noticing like this side of me is not well lit. It's blue light. You can see blue light here on the side of my head because this is a white light. This is a yellow light. That's a yellow light. Like, I have adjustable color lights all set to warm light, but this is cold light LED where I can't adjust it to be warm. And normally this is just backlighting for me, but I really need like a light bar under my monitor to offset it. But again, I'm not hugely motivated to do it. But point being, you know, I invest a lot of time, and I really like studying the ever-living shit out of things. I like doing things well, because like I like learning, and I like, you know, doing something and feeling proud of it or okay about it. It was very gratifying when I was talking with a friend of mine old friend of mine, like, knew him very well when I grew up. He's in sound design, and he's a sound guy for a lot of big bands, and he's one of those Nashville folks, which I don't think I could ever be, but he's very good people. Very, very good people. He's got a good hat. He's got a great hat. But him complimenting me on my fucking sound was like, oh wow, okay. I feel like there's still a lot to improve here, but thanks, bud. Now, I think that's something you really have to take to heart, or would benefit most people in internalizing and destigmatizing this appreciation that there's always more to learn. And even if you're doing something well, you can always do it better. And not in some, like, Sisyphean pursuit of the perfect, because you'll never get that. Never. You're gonna find perfection. But you can do better, and better. And it can be so fucking satisfying to do better and better and better at something, especially if it's something that you love, or just something that you take pride in, you know? Now, please don't misconstrue this as me acting like I'm good at everything I do. I'd lie to you and say that I am. I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not. You're not even good at this, Alex. Oh, thanks, Strawman. I appreciate it. But seriously, like, I'm bad at a lot of things. But also, I just don't fucking try at a lot of things, which more often is the issue when I'm bad at things. Somebody made a post about teaching. Oh, I think I saw this on Twitter. I'm assuming it's Twitter. I'm just glued to that hell site. Anyway, post was about paper or project grade reduction if people don't make a certain deadline. And their thesis, let's say, the point of the post was that deducting points for lateness is not grading the quality of the work, but it's grading an individual's compliance. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's true. That's why I didn't do well at school, because I don't do well with authority if I don't respect the authority, and there's a lot of authority figures I've had in my life that I deeply disrespect. So if I was being threatened with punishment for not complying, I've always had this kind of notion of like, fuck you. You don't get to push me around. Like, you're not owed my respect. You're not owed anything from me. You have to fucking earn it. Not in like a, you're not the boss of me kind of little shit way, but kinda yeah. Because mandatory or obligatory compliance doesn't sit right with me. It's very authoritarian. It's very authoritarian. And authoritarian in a bad way. It's not somebody with qualifications having authority, not somebody with knowledge or expertise having authority, though you would hope a teacher would. It's somebody being given power by an institution that the person who is having power affected over them, or the person being affected by that power, has no control or say in teaching children from a very young age that you shut the fuck up and you do what you're told. And if you don't do what you're told, if you don't do things on time, then you suffer for it. But the truth of the matter is, no projects get done on time. Have you been in the real world? No, a lot of them haven't. A lot of teachers are products of American academia. You know, they go to elementary, middle, high school, then they go to college, they graduate, and then they go back to elementary, middle, high school and start teaching. Or they go on to university so they can teach in college. So what they've been taught is this institutional norm and rule that you turn things on time or they're going to be late. Oh, when you get to the real world, late papers aren't, you can't do things on time. You can't have a sick day, yada, 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 whatever bullshit they throw around. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You motherfuckers have never lived in the corporate world. Everything's late all the time. Nothing's ever on schedule. It's constant delays, corruption, malfeasance, negligence, malice, and just, like, bad acting from root to stem. From, like, the whole apparatus is fucked. So the consensus, or the basis on which, kids are raised and taught is deeply inherently flawed. It's based on a lie, and it's based on a lie whose purpose or whose service is to legitimize itself, right? This argument or this myth that academia is the real world and compliance and obedience to academic figures of authority is the way that you will need to comply for the rest of your life. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a complete fucking lie. Just done to maintain power within that relationship, within that immediate power structure. The teacher-student relationship. It feels incredibly antiquated. If you start thinking about it, to me at least, it feels incredibly antiquated and ineffective. Wildly ineffective. Like, it teaches very dangerous norms to its students and creates, like I've been arguing, a toxic, unsustainable culture. Well, very sustainable, unfortunately, culture in academia, which just goes around and goes around and goes around and goes around, and you get these bullshit myths that people operate on and indoctrinate people new to the apparatus on, and you get this weird lie of a culture. Like, ooh, it's gonna be so hard. It's so easy to turn in late work in college. It's so easy. And it's so easy to exist in the real world doing the same thing. Because everybody's human, everybody's busy, everybody has other priorities, and sometimes, you know what? Something just can't be your priority. Sometimes you just gotta say, no, I don't have time for that. Sorry, I don't have time for that project. You need to assign somebody else. Or I thought my team and I would have time to get around to it, but deadline on something else moved up and we've had to set it aside. We've had to prioritize. We've had to triage. That's completely okay. But in the American education system, educators often, not always, are often more concerned with their compliance and ability to grade when they need to, meet the standards that they've been assigned, rather than the welfare or education of their students. I know, there are people who really genuinely care. I know there's some amazing teachers out there. But institutionally, it's fucking rotten to the core. And the solution is not at all privatization, obviously. Private schools are so fucking bad. They're worse. They're worse. Alex, what about, like, Montessori schools? I mean, like, no, dude, like, any model that posits, we'll just create our own better system over here, just like the idea of creating a commune or a farm or whatever where you live with you and your homies and the rest of society can get fucked. It's not revolutionary, dog. That's not meaningful. Not even progressive. It's the utilization of privilege. But oh my god. So many liberals think they're doing... They're the fucking vanguard of the revolution because they send their kids to a Montessori school. Or they are practicing, like, non-violent parenting, as in, like, they don't hit their kids, they punish them, or don't punish them by different value systems. Both are good. Both are good, or even better, right? No, obviously better. Don't hit your fucking kids. It doesn't actually work in instilling what you want it to. You're just doing it because it's a self-perpetuating cycle. Also, you should go to therapy if you really have the desire to hurt your kid. I mean that genuinely, not in a, go to therapy, like, dismissive way that I've talked about. Genuinely, not your fault. You've been programmed by a very violent culture with authoritarian tendencies to understand and recognize that authority perpetuates itself and instills itself and reinforces itself through violence, and that is not a relationship you want with your loved ones, least of all your children. Or at least I hope that's not a relationship you want with your children. Again, I'm just some asshole on the internet. Wildly and totally unqualified, except, you know, being a big fucking nerd, well-read, well-studied. I'd say do your own research, but the vast majority of people are patently unable to do so because we don't teach literacy in the United States. We don't teach academic literacy. We don't teach people how to do their own research, how to vet their sources. We don't do that here. We don't do that here. No, you just Google it, go to something that agrees with an assumption or basis that you're already arguing, and then you repost that going like, see, I was right. And then you get mad at people who don't agree. But Alex, leftists do that too. Bad ones, yeah. Yeah, that kind of rhetoric and self-enforcing, self-reinforcing attitude is not exclusive to, left, right, or center. That's just a bad academia thing. Fuck, I hate how bad a lot of leftists, particularly popular leftists on social media, are at doing some basic goddamn critical analysis. Or even, like, dialectical analysis. Is appalling the level of literacy inherent in things. Well, you know, that's a really elitist stance to take. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's a socialist and communist one. Know why I say that? Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Literacy rate by country. See the former Soviet bloc over here? And, you know, the People's Republic of China? See this? Literacy rate at or above 90%. Pretty well in the rest of Europe. Man, look at all this data excluded. This is a terrible link. Wikipedia, this isn't going to be much better. The United States is not in any of these, and it's very interesting. But, rate. Oh, God. Just, why are you showing me incorrect? Why is it broken down this way? North Korea, Ukraine, Uzbekistan, Estonia, Latvia, Azerbaijan, Cuba, Kazakhstan, Lithuania, Tajikistan, Armenia, Russia, Slovenia, Turkmenistan. Not until we get to Barbados do we get something outside the Soviet bloc. But okay, you know, we're still in like 99.9, 90, yeah, okay. Still pretty high, right? Belarus, Georgia, Guam, again, Tonga, St. Pierre. Point fucking being, is it elitist? Maybe. But it's also a deeply socialist communist take. Like, people are intentionally kept ignorant and illiterate and lacking in education and critical analysis and thought in this country. It's not a mistake. It's very intentional. You're taught enough to read, how to do your job. That's about it. Like, the vast majority of Americans read on a I think only... God, I saw a statistic earlier today. Far less than 50% of Americans, adults, read at or above a 5th grade level. I think it's like 40% read at or above a 6th grade level. Which is appalling, appalling. You know, I'm such a fucking asshole. I know when I'm looking at mods or looking at whatever, and I point out all the grammatical errors, or the syntax issues, or the sentence structure, or ways that things could be improved, right? And I keep saying over and over and over, you need a fucking copy editor, you need a copy editor, you need a copy editor. Well, they do. Americans do not speak, nor write, nor read our language well. Neither do the Brits. Y'all motherfuckers have made a goddamn mockery of the language that you cobbled together. British English is a mess. English is a fucking mess. And that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot, right? Like, oh... It's a low bar for a functional language. And it's... I'll be honest with you, it's a shame that English is the predominant language on the planet, or one of the predominant languages on the planet. Is it still the most spread languages by number of speakers? Yeah, it's 3rd behind Spanish and Mandarin. Mandarin? Dude, incredibly logical. And, like, super cool. Also, I've never been able to get a good hang on it. Because I studied it in high school for like a semester, didn't do that well at it. Because, honestly, I was embarrassed that I was having trouble with it. It seemed really daunting, and so I did this thing where I kind of put in some effort, but really I was just hoping to skate on by with minimal effort, just hoping that natural intelligence would get me through, and that was a wildly immature and ineffective approach. I've given consideration to studying Mandarin, or I'll be honest, I haven't given any consideration to Cantonese, to studying Mandarin again. It just hasn't happened. I love it. You know, critically, as a language. It's very cool. Spanish? Yo no comprendo español. No habla español. Tú es gringo. Tú es? Did I say you are, or did I say I am? You get what I'm getting at, right? It is not my mother tongue, and it's not my lingua franca, and I can do nothing but ill for it. I just embarrass myself and anyone who actually speaks the language. And I know this. I made a point when I was like, 11 or 12, my mom had, spoke Portuguese because she was raised in Brazil. And she had, dictionaries for English, Portuguese dictionary, for Spanish to English dictionary. And so I read through them. And I tried to construct for myself how to say, I can't speak your language, or this language in that language, because it seemed important, right? Like, how do you communicate to someone if you can't speak their language that you can't speak their language? I guess through just being a traditional asshole American and just speaking English louder at them and then getting irate and indignant. Yeah, but, I don't want to do that. Technically, it's an option, though. For fairness sake, let's at least put it on the table. Far away from me on the table. Like, way the fuck over there somewhere, but... arguably, it's there. It just feels more respectful, especially if you're visiting a country or a region or even a neighborhood that your language is not the predominant one. And you have the time and, privilege to study their language. You can at least do a cursory, like, sorry, dude, I can't understand you. I know you can't understand me. It feels considerate, right? Like, holy shit, I get anxiety thinking about visiting a country that doesn't speak English primarily or widely, because, like, I don't want to be that fucking Americano gringo asshole rolling up to somebody else's country being like, haha, speak English for me. Like, no, fuck you. This whole idea of tourism is kind of perverse. The way we broadly engage with it, Americans being we. Like, going and seeing other places, other cultures, other people, other parts of the world, and treating it as, like, fun and leisure, rather than, I don't know, like, an important, humbling part of getting to know who you are as part of this wider species, understanding and growing appreciation with who you are in the world, what your place in the world is an incredible opportunity to learn completely new ways of looking at the world, of thinking about the world, you know. It's huge. But nah, we go to Paris to take pictures of the fucking Eiffel Tower and, oh, baguette, and oh, it's so pretty. And then we go to, you know, all these countries and do these cliche fucking things, take pictures of ourselves in front of monuments, and go home and talk about how beautiful it was, and having never spoken a goddamn word of their language, having participated in none of the genuine, like, local tradition or culture or history, but instead just consume the stuff curated to an American audience as being dumbed down and interesting enough for us fucking slob of a people to understand or appreciate. Like, I'm not interested, man. I've traveled a lot within the continental United States. I haven't been to all of the southern 48, have I? Maybe I have. Have I been to Maine? Have I been to Vermont? Vermont and New Hampshire, I'm not sure I've been to. Maine, Vermont, I've been to Maine. I'm not sure about I've been to Vermont. I'm not sure about New Hampshire. I probably have been. I've experienced American tourism to its fullest extent. I fucking hate it. I hate it so goddamn much because it's all the same crap. It's all the same crap, and it's about... It's not about enriching yourself. It's not about a bigger appreciation for who you are and where you are in the world and the society that you participate in. It's not about galvanizing a greater wonder at the human experience or your own personal journey. Nah, it's about knickknacks and theme parks and world's largest ball of twine and just, like, complete fucking spectacle. It's spectacle, empty, soulless spectacle. And Lord, oh Lord, do I hate it. I hate it. Obviously, I mean, I'm making that demonstrably clear, both in what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. I ain't sorry. No, I'm really glad and appreciative that I've been able to travel as much as I have. I, again, don't want to be like, I don't appreciate this fantastic series of opportunities I've had. No, I do. Like, Santa Fe is gorgeous, and I'm so glad that I've been able to go there and spend time there. I'm so glad I've been able to pop around the really beautiful continent, or northern part of this continent, or central part of this northern continent. I've been able to pop around. Like, there's a lot to see, a lot to explore, a lot to engage with. Like, National Park near the Grand Canyon. It's where Lonely Hearts is set, or near where Lonely Hearts is set, the DLC for Fallout New Vegas. Fuck me, this is gonna bother me if I don't look it up. Maps! Zoom. It's in Utah. It's right here. I know what I'm looking for. Do I? I keep thinking Moab, but it's absolutely not Moab. Utah, Coral Springs? No. Am I losing my goddamn mind? I mean, yeah, obviously, clearly I will. Zion National Park is amazing! amazing. I live in a beautiful part of the country here, like Arizona. Holy shit, the rocks are just gorgeous and awe-inspiring, and the desert is just abyssally beautiful. Where I grew up in the Midwest, I don't have a lot of kind things to say about Kentucky. Kentucky has, like, Mammoth Cave is humbling and thrilling in its size and grandeur, and the realization that there can be a whole world underneath your feet that you're just unaware of. And that's a really great realization and great lesson, especially if it really sets in. All like the dinosaur parks I've been to, it just, I'm so appreciative that I've traveled as much as I have. But again, with that said, it's been in spite of this tourist model. It's been really in spite of the capitalist tourist industry. These stupid American, I don't know what voice I'm doing or why, but you know, unsurprising take from me that, like, fuck Disney World. Fuck Disney World. I have been once or twice. No, thank you. Disneyland? Disney World is the one in Florida, Disneyland's the one in California. Never been. No interest in going. I don't really see the appeal of a... It's a wonderland where everyone can feel like a child again. Yeah, how great and infantilizing. That's what I want. That's what I want. But Alex, like, people deserve to be happy and get a sense of escape, and, like, reality's dark and draining enough. Just let people enjoy things. No, not when your enjoyment of that thing fuels the largest media company in the world, who owns and produces the vast majority of media, whose interest is only in self-perpetuation, their own profit, and other motives along that line. No, you're giving money to the devil, and I'm not gonna act like that's okay. Again, I will not contest that there is not spectacle to it. Oh, Disney gets spectacle down. They do a remarkable job. Truly a remarkable job. But fuck them. The natural world has incredible amounts of spectacle as well. We don't... No, I'm not gonna say... We don't need television. We don't need rock and roll. We just need a good book and the great outdoors. You know, I'm not, you know, a Luddite. I love technology. I like theme parks, man. I like going on rides. Roller coasters can be pretty dope, also deeply terrifying. The fact that they're run and operated by teenagers, for the most part, who are underpaid and not really qualified to take another human's life in their hands as a responsibility, is deeply troubling, and another indictment of capitalism. You would imagine, in an ideal world, it would be engineers running this thing who knew the system well, maybe even built, or designed, or maintained it, who would have a good sense for if something is going wrong and how to deal with that in the moment, rather than just Johnny trying to make some money over summer vacation. They're not... You know, nothing is untouched by the invisible hand of the market, right? Nothing is sacred. Well, yeah. Even the sacred isn't sacred. Everything's mundane. The sacred is deeply commodified, especially in this country. Like, oh my god, going to various, like, religious sites in the American Southwest, Catholic missions or sites where supposed miracle happens, and, like, people selling jars of dirt from the location, like, you know, maybe indulgences aren't a thing anymore, but the selling of relics and the production of relics, oh, Martin, my dear boy, your thesis did nothing. It did nothing. I mean, how would he come to know that capitalism would come to introduce a new audience with a new motive for producing fake relics and selling and distributing fake relics. It used to be, religious motivation for sanctifying the soul, but it was actually, a method by which individuals and states could enrich themselves. Yeah, there was some inherent greed at the time, but now it's fucking institutional. I guess at the time it was institutional, but it wasn't, industrial in scale. I get that was interesting. Just clicked and the game did not want that piece to go down. Okay, fair enough, I guess. Why you do this? Why you do this? Bitrate's fine. Yeah, it's not the stream, it's the game. I've never had it hang up before. CPU's at like 5% right now. No drop frames. Yep. Nope. Couldn't tell you. Couldn't fucking tell you. Alright, we can get a 6 out of this. And unfortunately, I think that might be the best that we can do. Oof. 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 Yeah. No. Not so bueno. Not so bueno. 24. So yeah, I mean, I'm doing well if, rather than talking about how I'm feeling, I'm rallying on about the ills of capitalism, consumerism, the modern post-industrial state. Well, it's not really post-industrial, is it? The modern capital state. The depredations and degradation of mankind for the sole purpose of investment portfolios and short-term quarterly gains. I'm doing pretty well, if that's what I'm talking about. It's a shame you can't really make a living doing that. I mean, you can, being like a character online, and apparently you can make millions if you have no integrity and use that money for your own self-interest instead of redistributing that like you are supposed to talk about. Wait, listen, man. I don't give a shit about Hasan. I hate that I know that Hasan exists. He has a popular platform. People support him. That's his prerogative. Like, I don't want to have an opinion on that. I don't want to know about that. But it's celebrity culture horseshit. And I hate that I have an opinion. I hate that I have a feeling in the matter because I don't want to. It's so petty and there's so much more important shit to do. But you know. Some people have spoken in his favor, saying that, like, well, you know, attacks on him having a lot of money, millions of dollars, is just like saying, ooh, Bernie owns 2 houses. Isn't that crazy? Bernie has done actual work for poor people, for marginalized communities. He has spent his life fighting very actively and materially for the benefit of the proletariat. Hasan is a fucking podcaster. A podcaster who doesn't organize, he doesn't mobilize, he just kind of galvanizes. Maybe he galvanizes, to put it politely. Like, he just doesn't do anything. Like, is nothing. He's just a source of entertainment. And, you know, entertainment's not inherently bad, but it's sure shit not revolutionary. You know, if you like him, go ahead and like him, man. I'm not saying not to. I like plenty of shit that's not revolutionary, but I don't pretend that it is. I like plenty of shit that's problematic or troubling, and, you know, maybe I shouldn't like, maybe I shouldn't consume. Totally. But I don't then put it on a pedestal and act like I don't. Or that I do the opposite of that, because... Okay, come on. Burn your idols. No gods, no masters is pretty clear and the aspiration and the desire there. We don't need new gods. We don't need new celebrities. We don't need new cults of personality. We can... Celebritization? The celebrity of popularized figures is, in my mind, countered and contradictory to the spirit of collectivism, to the spirit of communism, socialism, and indeed anarchism. As Hassan would never have had the platform that he had without his moneyed family or relationships. Like, he had a lot of opportunity going into that, and like, I don't want to pick on him in particular, because there are far worse podcasters and streamers out there. Oh my god, there's a whole gambit of debate lords who produce nothing except spectacle. Legitimately think that they're like the vanguard of the fucking revolution. Like, dog, when was the last time you were on a picket line? When have you, like, actually participated in organizing in a political or labor field? Never? Have you just argued with college students online and teenagers online and crowned yourself the king of debate? Yeah, you're really helping, dude. You're doing a lot. Well, we all owe you so much. Thank God for you. Ugh, I'm an educator. No, you're fucking not. You're not an educator unless you're on reading theory, talking critically through materialist lenses about that theory. And if you lack an education in it, then don't front like you do. Don't act like you have some sort of false authority or air of authority or voice of authority, because you demonstrably, obviously do not. Where the hell is the gold on this island? Oh, it's way the fuck over here. Well, not getting that buff off of this. Can I get it off of just these? Can I get off on just these? Yeah, I don't know. We operate on platforms that lean into this fetishization and really celebrity culture enabling. If you'll take my poor expression and construction of a sentence there. YouTube and Twitch and other streaming platforms and other video platforms and social media more broadly profit off of interactions more so from individual posts, a lot of people interacting with one individual post, than they do a lot of smaller posts, a lot of smaller posters. So they are reinforced by a hierarchical system, by pumping up or supporting their influencers or podcasters or producers or celebrities or whatever the fuck. It's not just like, ooh, people like this so it does well. No, people like this so it makes the company money, so they ensure that it does well so it keeps making them more money. The algorithm is not out there, unfortunately. It's not out there to actually help you find more stuff that you like. It's helping you find things that you'll like enough that makes them money. Profit is, especially for YouTube, especially for Facebook, especially for Twitter, especially for, profit-motivated organizations, which is to say every American organization by and large, that is their main motive, which is why they make mediocre products. It's why students and nerds make really cool products, really inspired, interesting products, and then those products get commodified and backed by, you know, investors who then try to figure out how to make money off of it. Like Google, it's just a service, dude. Amazon is just a service. It shouldn't need to be, man. I want to live in a world where we do excellence for excellence's sake, where we improve on things because it's an improvement, where we do good and do well by one another as its own motive, where excellence and prestige of excellence are motivators more so than profit motive. Then how can I buy that for $1? How can I make $1 more on that? How can I make a cent more on that? How can I squeeze blood out of this fucking stone just one more time? Just an ounce more, just a little bit more. Like, I actually do take issue with a lot of people who are very successful on these platforms. If they are not more actively using that platform, we're staying on this island, I think, until I bust. Who don't proactively use that platform to raise money for important causes, to organize for political causes, etc., etc., etc. Like fucking... My dude Northern Lion does as much political organizing as Hassan does. And Northern Lion tries to run broadly an apolitical stream, which I think is a ridiculous concept because no art can be apolitical, but it's very profitable to try and put on that affectation because that way you don't offend anybody and you broaden your audience. I totally get it, though I conceptually, you know, laugh at the idea because that isn't a thing, that's not real, that's nonsense. Which is fine, but it's nonsense. But hey, if it works for him, Godspeed, I guess. If it works for you, Godspeed. But like the idea that these motherfuckers stream with AOC or, oh god, the head of the Labour Party of Canada, he's a very pretty man. He's very well spoken. I can't remember his first name. Way to be American, Alex. And talking about like, we gotta get out the vote. That's some lib shit, dude. That's like some bare bones lib shit. Same thing with like getting people to donate to various causes. If you make millions a year, and the way that you're raising money for charity isn't by matching those donations, I got a problem with you. Now, that's not even... I'm just talking about Twitch personalities who I like. Not even talking about, like, Mr. Beast or just all the fucking YouTubers who are rolling in money who do nothing good with that money. Well, he's given so much money out to people. As compared to the amount of money that he's made, no, he hasn't. No, none of them have. I don't want to be rich. I've never wanted to be rich. I want to have a small, comfortable social reach and social network. I want to exist in a world, within a community that helps better one another, helps support one another, loves one another, cares for one another, and strives to help one another, or at least reduce one another's suffering. I don't want millions of dollars. No one should have that kind of influence. No, like, you have to hoard so much power and influence that can be used to save lives today. Like I talked about last time, how and I guess I've been bringing this up quite a bit lately. Like like even me last year, when I was worried about how I was going to pay bills or make rent, It's not much, man. It's only like $1,600 a month is what I need to live. That's rent, that's bills, that's efficient grocery shopping. $1 million would have me set for life, right? And the fact that there are millionaires who are not just set for life and their families are set for life, but then they just keep accumulating and accumulating and accumulating in the pursuit of becoming a fucking billionaire. A millionaire is closer to being homeless than they are to being a billionaire. Like, billionaires straight up should not exist. And, you know, I'm pretty sure millionaires, you don't need more than $1 million. No one ever needs more than $1 million. $1 million is, like, excessive in and of itself. But you know what? I say set the cap there. I say have a hard limit of a millionaire. You can be a millionaire. Any more than that? Nope. If you don't donate it, if you don't give it away, then it should be taxed from you. No one should have that much money. No one individually should have that much power. You think government would do a better job of it? Yeah, if government weren't heavily corrupted by profit motive the way that it is, because we don't set a limit on how much money people can have, because we don't have laws in place to protect, you know, elected officials from being bought and paid for by corporations, because this is the norm. Yeah, you know, I actually think it would do quite a bit of good and avoid a lot of the shit that we have gotten into. And be, you know, a step in the right direction. Now, you're never gonna, you know, arguably you're not gonna reform your way into a revolution, right? But you can reform your way into a less painful version of this existence, like one that benefits more people. I've never really understood this source of conflict amongst the left primarily. These constant arguments over, like, particularly I see anarchists doing this, and it really pisses me off. Ugh, imagine thinking voting does anything. This is why I don't vote. Buddy. Harm mitigation saves lives. Is it pleasant? No. Is it desirable? Not really. Like, is it inspiring? No. But harm mitigation saves lives today. Maybe not many. Maybe not enough. But it does something. It does something. It does anything. And literally anything is better than nothing. Now, I absolutely am not advocating for stopping there. Right? Sure as fuck don't stop there. When it's, you know, around election season, help people get registered to vote, encourage people to vote, make voting plans, you know, try and organize prior to election season so you actually have people running who share at least some of your values or are running on a platform that at least somewhat represents you. And, you know, it's possible. It's very possible to get people who are at least ideologically sympathetic or inclined in a direction that you want to go, in a way that you want to go. But man, the hubris, the fucking hubris of, like, well, I just don't want to participate in society. I don't want there to be a government at all, so I'm just not going to vote for it. I'm just going to try and overthrow it magically because I don't form cohesive organizations. I don't cooperate with other leftists. I just have my own little affinity group and my own little bubble, and I do nothing. I do nothing for the wider world. I do nothing for my wider community. And this isn't an indictment of all anarchists, but it's an indictment of a specific brand of anarchists, particularly white anarchists, particularly white urban anarchists, particularly white urban anarchists born into a certain social and financial class. Like, fuck you if you think that squirreling yourself away from the world is more revolutionary than doing the bare fucking minimum to help people who are actually suffering. Now, there are some absolutely based and amazing anarchists out there, absolutely. But there's a lot of shitlords out there, too. There's a lot of edgy shitlords. Like, imagine unironically using the word tanky derogatorily towards someone who thinks that, you know, maybe like a dictatorship of the proletariat could be a useful transitionary model. Now, I think it's flawed. Definitely. I think that's a flawed line of thought, and that Stalin very well demonstrated the dangers of it. That what happens if that dictatorship doesn't want to give up the power, maybe what happens when it becomes disenfranchised and disillusioned with the notion of transitioning to a more representative or decentralized mode of you know, power, governance, authority, and control. Yeah, there are real considerations there, real critiques there, but it's not like people who are actually Marxist-Leninist or Stalinist or tankies of any brand have any power right now. And so being like, I don't want to talk to them or deal with them. Like, imagine thinking, motherfucker, you, for the time being, have a shared common interest. And if either of you ever want one of your revolutions to work out, you gotta work together in the interim. You need a united front. Even temporarily, you need a united front. What do you do when the united front ends? Well, you know, that's when you start getting into some trouble. That's why you organize, and that's why you keep your eyes out for the fucking Bolsheviks. Because, you know, you can run into some issues when somebody's like, what if we just purge the anarchists from the party? And, you know, have a real problem. There are no perfect solutions. There are no perfect organizations of humanity. There are no magical fixes. But Soviet Union over the United States today, I think would be a massive improvement. I don't feel like that's very contentious. I mean, obviously it's contentious when you talk to people who are uneducated on what life was actually like in the USSR. We are so inundated with anti-Soviet, anti-socialist, anti-communist propaganda in this country that the vast majority of people are very inundated in that. And, like, the Soviet Union was not perfect. It was deeply flawed, but I think I would have rather lived there than the United States at any given point. Maybe not right prior to the end, because when, you know, capitalism stepped into the country and the massive amount of wealth that was just ripped from the hands of the workers is just... Whoo! 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 Horrible. Horrible. Yeah. What time is it? 5:07. So my buddy pal said he'd be good to go around 6, so I think we wrap up Islanders here. I didn't throw the island. We're ready to move on to a new island. I finally, and it's noteworthy, I think, finally fucking used the tempo in a way that wasn't bad. Like, that's kind of nice, right? Normally I completely waste this. This city, not bad at all, and it looks like I want to be capped out anytime soon. But I'm gonna wrap up here. You know, bullet points. Vitamin D works, apparently. Just don't overdose on it because you can do serious damage, so keep the dosage low, and, you know, consult with the physician if you feel like it's necessary to up your dosage, because seriously, shit can fuck you up. Liver damage, particularly, I think. Which isn't great, you only got one of those, and there's so many other more fun ways to damage your liver. Communism good, socialism good, cult of personality bad, celebrity culture sucks, tourism in the United States sucks, but traveling very good, but traveling to other countries kind of gross and imperialist the way a lot of people do it. Get off your fucking high horse regardless of your political identity and form united fronts, work in solidarity with one another. Solidarity doesn't mean you have to agree on everything or even fucking like the people. It just means you stand together in opposition to the powers that be because you know that you can use both sides against the middle. I'm not saying stand by Proud Boys. I'm not saying stand by alt-right organizations of any kind. No Boogaloo Boys. I'm certainly not taking that position. But amongst leftists, yes, yes, emphatically. But you know, ain't nobody give a shit what I have to say. But it feels good to say it, and hell, that's why we say most of what we say, isn't it? Until later, if you are watching on YouTube, this is it. Until tomorrow, I mean. If you were watching on Twitch, we're gonna hop into a quick little couple of days of Stardew Valley. Maybe 3 days. Gonna try to get about an hour of that, 50 minutes in, and then we're probably gonna end stream, take a little break, get everything set up for Baldur's Gate 3, pivot over to that. But anyway, until tomorrow, toodaloo, take care, see you then, bye-bye.